Hey everybody, it's Robin Scherzer with Robin Stampin' Hood. Welcome to my hood. Today I am going to show you a real quick project using the Online Exclusive Horse and Sleigh. This is the stamp set, and of course it comes with dies as well, and those are scattered among my belongings at this point. But I wanted to show you this really cute project we did this weekend for my Christmas in July. Let me show you. So this is it. I know it's a little hard to see because of the angle, but I'm gonna set it that way so you can see it. So it's a table favor or like just a little gift for your customers, your co-workers. So I put some of those peppermint puffs in it because, you know, those are always a favorite, and I thought they went good with the red too. But that's it. It's so simple and so cute. So I'm going to show you how to make this. So the first thing you need to do is obviously you have to have the stamp set and the dies. And again, those are online exclusives, and that's bundle. It's a bundle for $52. That's 10% off. And the number is 162126. So definitely go out there and get that. So let's start with actually stamping. So I am going to stamp the sleigh and the horse on a piece of thick white. And the reason I'm using the thick white is because when you go to use the blends to color, it bleeds through. So it just, for me, I personally like it a little bit better because it's sturdier for this kind of thing. So then you're just gonna use your Memento ink because we're gonna be using the blends. So you wanna make sure you're using Memento and not any other black ink, because this will not bleed into the markers when you're using them, or the blends when you're using them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stamp this beautiful image. I love it so much. It reminds me of my mom. When she was younger, when she was a young lady, she had a sleigh and a horse. So it just reminds me of her. So, okay. So that is the image. Isn't that pretty, you guys? I just love it so much. Okay. So I have chosen to use just 4 colors of blends, and that's the Cherry Cobbler, the Mossy Meadow, and Smoky Slate, and Crumb Cake. Now I did add, you can see here, I have just little white faces, so I decided I should add the flesh color. It's the SU1000. It's like the lightest color tone that you can get, and because it kind of matches me, so that's why I chose it. So I'm just going to do their little faces right now as we're sitting here. I'm not going to color this whole thing for you while we're on camera, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how I went about it. So you can kind of see here, that's probably like a little blanket, and that's probably like one of those little hand, what were they called? Hand muffs. So I just kind of, excuse me, went off that kind of thought process. And my sweet friend Audrina helped me with this. So I have to give her credit. So we're going to make this crumb cake. And I'm using the fine tip part of it because it's just so much easier to control where your tip is going. So there, her little muff matches her little hat. Oh, you know what? We need to make his hands, because it doesn't look like he's wearing gloves, does it? So you can see the process there. And I'll just show you, I did the sled, obviously, I did that in Cherry Cobbler. And for the horse, I did the Smoky Slate. And I used the dark when I went and did the tail. And I'm not doing any of the what's the word I'm looking for? The shading in that, because when I had horses, you know, we're just gonna use the darkest for the mane, for the tail, for the ears, and that should give them enough dimension. So you can see. And then on his little Appaloosa butt, I'm gonna give him a little darker And then we're going to take the lighter blend and blend it together. But you get the point. I love the blends. They just add that little extra something to coloring. So I'm grabbing that right away while it's still semi-wet, so you can see. And sometimes when you do these, you think, oh my God, that looks so bad. But once it dries, because you can kind of see the ink spreading as I'm putting it on. And I'm being very light-handed. I want you to, when you get your blends, don't mush them, but you kind of just want to do them off the side and use them just very lightly, and they will do you well. I notice a lot of my brush marker ends are very damaged because people that are here using them don't think to use them just off to the side like that. So you can see, I'm not going to finish coloring all that in because obviously you guys know how to color, right? So I'm going to show you my finished product. So that's what I did. Oh, I forgot his little halter and everything. So let's do that real quick. I guess I didn't finish this, did I? So we'll do that. And his little halter can be the cherry cobbler as well. Oops, my hands are a little not doing what they should be doing. And then the other thing I added to this, just for a little sparkle, because you know I love the sparkle, I did add Stella. So go ahead and shake that up just to give it a little winter sparkle. Going around. Oh, I forgot that little part right there too. I need to do that too. I guess I didn't finish this. I thought I was so smart. I'm just being careful with this. When you're using Stella, you don't want to give it a big squeeze because you will get a big old puddle of fun, of sparkly fun when you do it. Okay, and then I'm just going to do it along here too, you know, because it's a one-horse open sleigh. And then I'm just going to finish this little part right here. I don't know if that's a little foot blanket. Could be, because it's a little cold when you're out in that one-horse open sleigh. Let's see. I'm going to do this. Okay. All right, so that is the stamp, and I did cut it out with the die, but I want to show you because we're going to need another part of the die. So this does fit with the mini Stampin' and Cut machine. So I'm actually going to take, because we need a shadow for our box, and we also need a little, I don't know if you can see it, you need a little runner right here for the sleigh. Now you could do it in silver. We do have some paper that is in the online exclusives that's silver, but I chose to do it in black. So I'm going to take a piece of black and put my shadow and my little runner on that, and we're just gonna scooter right through the mini emboss machine. Everything turned out so beautiful. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna roll it through. Sorry for the wiggling. I don't know how to stop that unless I had a camera hanging from the ceiling. Okay, all right, and there we go. Yay, beautiful, fun. Isn't that cute? I love it. All right, so I'm gonna put that back on the sheet before I lose it. And then let's pull this off real quick. So again, this is your little sleigh runner. And we're gonna poke out our holes from it, and then we'll put it on our sleigh. It just gives it a little extra dimension. And like I said, using silver would probably be really super, super duper cute. So it goes just right along here, kind of follows those lines. And like I said, it just gives it a little bit extra dimension. And I'm not gonna go crazy with my glue. I'm just gonna do little hits. So I'm gonna pick some of that up and do it along here, because just a little goes a long way. So don't be too heavy-handed with that. And if you had your silicone mat, that would work as well too, putting this on. So I'm just gonna, beautiful. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm hoarse. Okay. So there you go. You can see that's that. So those are the two pieces we're going to need for our little table favor. The last thing I'm going to do, which is add just a little something onto the sleigh itself, if I can pick it up. So these fun snowflake adhesives come in the suite as well. And I'm just going to grab, I think, one of these. Oops. Hello. Look at that. And we're just going to add it right here. Just make it a little bit more wintry, right? Okay. So let's put those aside and let me show you how to do the box. It's a super, super simple box. So you will need your cutter scorer, your scoring part of it, of course. And this piece of black is just 6 by 4. It's very simple. And you're going to score at 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1 inch. So 1 inch on all 4 sides. So again, the piece of paper is 4 by 6, and I'm scoring at 1 inch on all 4 sides. And then we're going to go ahead and take our paper snips, and we're going to go ahead and just snip up on each of the corners of that flap, and then you're gonna snip directly across from it. So we want to keep the flaps on, but we're just gonna snip up. So we're snipping up to the score line, and then we're gonna miter these. So you're just taking, and they don't have to be perfect, just you're taking out a little wedge so your box will look pretty. Otherwise these wedges otherwise the little, if you don't take the wedges out, the flaps stick up above the box and it looks a little doofy. So is that a word? Doofy. So we're just snipping them out like that. So that is what it would look like. Pretty easy, right? Okay, so now we're just gonna take our bone folder and give a good burnish on all of the sides. And I recommend either using glue, the Tombow glue, or the tear tape, because this is something that's going to be used. And my recommendation is always, when you're making a project that someone is going to be using, like pulling things out of, and like this table, it's going to be moved around. It's not going to just be put on somebody's mantle. People are going to be taking candy out of it or whatever you've decided to put in it. So then what you want to do are these flaps are going to go into the inside. So the ugly is going to be on the inside. So it's going to look like that, right? So I'm just going to take my glue and give it some glue on the flaps. And I always make sure that when I do this, I'm making sure it's nice and square when I do this. Okay, so I'm holding it there, so you can see my seams are right up against the score line. So just give it a hold for a second, let it make sure it's there, we're good. And then I'm gonna come over to these and do the same thing. Again, you're just hiding the ugly inside, so don't put the flaps on the outside. And again, I'm just making sure they're nice and square, that the corners are nice and square, okay? Easy peasy, lemon squaresy. And how easy is that? Now you have a box, right? Okay, so then let's take our other pieces. I guess I should have kept that open. And we're just gonna lay this along here. So just kind of eyeball it. Like I wanna make sure my box, like I don't want it sitting where you can see the box over here. So I'm just gonna make sure my box is covered up as best that you can do it, because it'll just fit on there. And make sure you kind of eyeball, like, where should I put my glue? Because you don't want to go too far onto the horse, onto the sleigh. Otherwise, the glue will be showing on the outside. So I'm just going to hit the glue here, just right along here on the horse's feet, along the runner, and that should be good. And this is another reason I'm using the thick cardstock, is because now it's not going to be flimsy. It's going to be a nice sturdy piece. So then I'm just going to lay it back down. And again, I'm making sure it's flush, like the horse's hoofs are right along here. You don't want it just floating on the box. And that, oops, and that the sleigh runner is along that too. So there you go, just like that. And that glue will dry clear, so I'm not worried about it. So it's nice and flush when I sit it down on the table. And then I put this one on first because of the reverse image. I want to make sure I'm going to put my shadow. So I'm treating it like a shadow, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. We know we just need it along the sleigh runner, horse's feet. And then we're going to lay it down this way. And you can see I'm a little off on my bottom piece there. Hopefully that won't matter too much when I set it down because it's a pretty wide box. But then I'm kind of, when I put it down, I was kind of looking at, does it make sure it kind of matches up with the other side? So that should do it. So there you go. Easy peasy little gift holder for candies or whatever you want to put in there. Somebody at my class was talking about, you know, like for Halloween, you could do that and put it in a cello bag for the kids or whatever your heart desires. So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it and happy stamping.